Imagine waking up daily feeling a quiet dissatisfaction, realizing you're just moving through the motions, living the same ordinary cycle that millions follow without ever questioning it. You want more. You want to become something greater, to transcend the mundane. But the first step is breaking free from the habits and mindset that keep you average. Stoic philosophers dedicated their lives to living with purpose, finding meaning beyond the everyday, and pushing themselves toward greatness. Today, we're diving deep into how you can embody this mindset, stepping beyond the ordinary and into the extraordinary. Before we start, please like this video and subscribe to help us on our journey. Your support means everything. Number 1, recognize the trap of comfort. It's easy to settle into routines and habits, doing what's expected and familiar. This tendency for comfort is often our biggest enemy when it comes to living extraordinary lives. Stoic philosophers like Seneca warned against luxury, not just in terms of materialism, but as a mindset of comfort and complacency. When we're too comfortable, we stop growing. Comfort keeps us grounded in the ordinary, where we're afraid to push boundaries or step outside our secure routines. One way to break this cycle is by actively seeking discomfort. Try incorporating a discomfort challenge into your life. It could be as simple as taking cold showers, giving up social media for a week, or waking up an hour earlier. Each of these actions teaches resilience, helping you embrace discomfort rather than shy away from it. This kind of resilience is critical for achieving greatness and stepping away from mediocrity. Take, for example, Marcus Aurelius, who didn't allow himself the luxury of excessive comfort. Despite being an emperor, he practiced austerity and discipline, ensuring that he could withstand any hardship that came his way. Emulate this discipline by challenging your comforts daily, knowing that each discomfort you overcome is a step toward leaving the ordinary behind. Embrace that push toward discomfort, because without it, you're only treading water in a sea of sameness. Ordinary people avoid discomfort, but extraordinary people grow through it. Number 2, set ambitious goals beyond social norms. Many people set goals, but often they're driven by societal expectations rather than a personal sense of purpose. Goals like getting a good job, buying a nice house, or settling down are common, but they don't drive us to transcend mediocrity. Stoicism teaches us to identify and pursue goals that align with our true values, not just societal standards. Marcus Aurelius pursued wisdom and integrity, values that went beyond the superficial norms of his time. To break away from mediocrity, set goals that are bold and ambitious, goals that make you nervous because of their scale. They don't need to be materialistic. They should be meaningful. Perhaps you want to write a book, start a movement, or master a new skill. Aim for things that will make you proud, not just financially successful or socially accepted. Consider the example of Epictetus, who was born a slave but dedicated his life to philosophy. He didn't pursue the approval of others. Instead, he set a goal to live virtuously and think independently. His ambitions were set on personal mastery and enlightenment rather than status, and it's his teachings that have endured for centuries. Don't be ordinary by settling for the usual. Set goals that push you, stretch you, and demand the very best from you. Goals that go beyond what society expects and reflect what you truly desire. Number 3, practice radical self-honesty. One of the biggest barriers to greatness is the inability to see ourselves clearly. It's easy to make excuses, blame others, or tell ourselves comforting lies. But Stoicism calls for radical honesty. Epictetus urged his followers to examine their lives critically, to ask themselves hard questions, and to confront their own weaknesses without denial or excuses. By being brutally honest, we can identify the areas where we're ordinary and need to improve. Start by conducting a self-audit. Look at areas like your work ethic, your relationships, and your personal growth. Where have you fallen into complacency? Where have you taken the easy road? Write these down and create a plan to address each one. Radical self-honesty doesn't mean self-criticism without purpose. It's about creating an actionable path toward betterment. Let's take an example from Seneca, who was notorious for his strict self-reflection. Despite his wealth, he criticized his own attachment to luxury and consistently worked to be more virtuous. This self-audit helped him avoid the traps that often accompany a high-status life and remain grounded. Ordinary people avoid tough questions. Extraordinary people seek them out, using self-honesty as a tool for continuous growth. Only through honest reflection can you understand where you're stuck in the ordinary and start moving toward greatness. Number 4, cultivate resilience through adversity. Extraordinary lives are often built through difficult experiences, not easy ones. Adversity provides us with an opportunity to grow, to become more resilient, and to stand out from those who give up too easily. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius viewed hardships as opportunities to strengthen character. When life becomes tough, we're faced with a choice: to break under pressure or to become stronger. Embrace the challenges you face as a path to resilience. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to complain or seek sympathy. Instead, ask yourself, how can I grow from this? How will this make me a stronger person? Reflecting on these questions builds mental resilience, setting you apart from those who crumble at the first sign of trouble. Take Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust and transformed his suffering into a philosophy that helps millions. His resilience didn't just make him extraordinary, it made his life a beacon for others. Stoicism teaches us to adopt this mindset, using adversity as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Don't be ordinary by shrinking from hardship. Embrace adversity, using it to build resilience, because it's this strength that will separate you from those who settle for less. Number 5, stop seeking approval. Ordinary people constantly seek validation from others, conforming to what's popular to gain approval. Stoicism teaches the opposite, to live by your principles, regardless of others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." When you live for others' approval, you're bound by their expectations and limitations. To become extraordinary, learn to be content with self-approval. Reflect on your values, establish your standards, and work to fulfill them instead of looking outward. Embrace the discomfort that comes with standing out and facing criticism, because this is a hallmark of being exceptional. Consider the story of Socrates, who was condemned for his ideas, yet remained unapologetic about his beliefs. He valued wisdom over popularity, even if it meant losing his life. By valuing truth over approval, he became legendary, not ordinary. Being extraordinary means being willing to stand alone. So stop seeking approval and start living by your values. Number 6, embrace discipline over motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's easy to feel inspired after watching a video or reading an inspiring story, but true greatness doesn't come from moments of excitement. It's forged through discipline, through doing what's needed, even when you don't feel like it. The Stoics believed that discipline was essential to a meaningful life. Epictetus often said that self-discipline leads to freedom because you're no longer at the mercy of fleeting emotions. To cultivate discipline, start with small, consistent habits. Create a routine that doesn't depend on how you're feeling that day. If your goal is to write, commit to writing every day for a specific amount of time, regardless of inspiration. If you want to improve physically, exercise daily without waiting to feel motivated. Discipline is a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. Look at the life of Marcus Aurelius, who maintained his duties as an emperor despite immense personal challenges. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He saw discipline as a duty, showing up every day and ruling with integrity and focus, regardless of his circumstances. Being extraordinary means showing up, even when you don't want to. Ordinary people wait for motivation. Extraordinary people rely on discipline to push them forward. Number 7, limit distractions and cultivate focus. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, from endless notifications to constant social media scrolling. But greatness requires focus, and the ability to resist these distractions is crucial. The Stoics practice this by meditating on their values and aligning their actions with those values daily, filtering out anything that didn't serve their higher purpose. To become extraordinary, we must train ourselves to concentrate fully on the tasks that matter and eliminate distractions. Start by identifying your biggest distractions and creating boundaries. Set specific times to check emails, turn off notifications when working on important projects, or dedicate certain hours each day to social media. By reclaiming your focus, you can pour more energy into meaningful pursuits. Take the example of Seneca, who often isolated himself to study and reflect, focusing deeply on his work and philosophy. By limiting distractions, he became one of the most influential Stoic thinkers. The ability to focus deeply allowed him to produce ideas and wisdom that continue to inspire. Ordinary lives are filled with distractions, while extraordinary lives are marked by deep, undisturbed focus. Choose to cultivate focus, and you'll find yourself standing out from those who can't control their attention. Number 8, act with intentionality. Many people drift through life without a sense of direction, moving from one thing to the next without any real purpose. But those who live with intentionality have a clear vision for themselves, and every action they take aligns with that vision. Stoic philosophy emphasizes living purposefully, taking actions that are meaningful and align with one's true values. By acting with intentionality, you step away from the ordinary and toward a life of purpose. To implement this, define what's meaningful to you and make every action count. Ask yourself before each task, does this serve my higher purpose? Let this question guide your choices, whether it's deciding what to read, how to spend your weekends, or even the type of people you surround yourself with. Think of Viktor Frankl, who, despite being in a concentration camp, found meaning in his suffering and dedicated his life to helping others find their purpose. His intentional actions, even in hardship, made his life extraordinary and inspiring. Ordinary lives are filled with random actions and wasted time. An extraordinary life, however, is crafted with purpose and intent in each moment. Be deliberate in what you do, and your life will naturally rise above the ordinary. Number 9, value quality relationships. Most people have a large social circle, but very few deep, meaningful connections. Being extraordinary means focusing on the quality of your relationships rather than the quantity. The Stoics valued a close-knit group of wise and virtuous friends rather than superficial acquaintances. Seneca wrote about the importance of choosing friends who elevate you, who push you to be better, and who support your journey to becoming extraordinary. To cultivate quality relationships, seek out people who share your values, those who inspire you to grow, and those who genuinely care about your journey. Limit time spent with those who drain your energy or pull you into negative patterns. By surrounding yourself with people who challenge and support you, you're setting yourself up for a life filled with mutual growth and inspiration. Consider how Epictetus fostered friendships with his students, teaching them the art of virtuous living. These relationships were deep and transformative, far beyond the surface-level connections so common today. Being extraordinary means being intentional about your relationships. Don't settle for shallow connections. Build bonds that add real value to your life and help you become your best self. Number 10, keep learning and growing. Finally, one of the hallmarks of an extraordinary person is a commitment to lifelong learning. Ordinary people believe they have arrived once they achieve a certain level, but extraordinary people know that growth never stops. Stoicism encourages us to view every experience as a lesson, every interaction as a chance to learn, and every failure as an opportunity to improve. To cultivate this mindset, commit to reading, learning, and trying new things. Engage in activities that challenge you intellectually and emotionally. Embrace feedback, seek mentors, and constantly expand your knowledge base. Adopt the mindset that there's always more to learn and always room to improve. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being one of the most powerful men of his time, continued to study philosophy, reflect on his weaknesses, and push himself to become wiser. This pursuit of knowledge and growth made him one of the most revered Stoic philosophers in history. In the end, the ordinary person stops learning, but the extraordinary individual makes learning a lifelong pursuit. Keep growing, and you'll continuously rise above mediocrity. By taking these steps, you'll be moving far beyond the ordinary. Remember, greatness isn't achieved by accident. It's a product of intentional actions, discipline, and a commitment to a higher purpose. Embrace the Stoic mindset. Push beyond your comfort zones, and don't let the ordinary hold you back from an extraordinary life. If you found value in today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means the world and helps us continue on this journey to elevate our lives.